All right, welcome back. Well, the U.S. Army's Denver Battalion's primary mission is to discover and recruit the most eligible people for service in the U.S. Army and Army Reserve. They oversee operations across 39 recruiting centers located in Colorado, Nebraska, and parts of Wyoming. Captain Peter Carbone, adjutant for Denver Army Recruiting Battalion, recently joined me in the MHL studio. Take a look. Captain, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start off really when you talk about recruiting, what are some of the biggest challenges that you actually face with recruiting in general?
One of the challenges we face nowadays is kind of staying in our own way, right? So Gen Z, millennials, and a lot of the audience that we're trying to reach and recruit for the future leaders of our Army, they're very tech savvy. They're very on the internet, very linked in with communication. And as the Army, at times people can think that the Army is archaic with the ways that we reach out to these prospective soldiers. And we as a military, we have to create novel ideas and creative ways to reach this audience. And at the end of the day, the Army is doing a great job with that, with advancing ways on social media and outreach and advertising to kind of communicate our goal and our mission and the opportunities that we can provide for these prospective soldiers and these current students in today's day and age.
I suspect you probably have some hesitant parents at times, maybe not wanting their sons and daughters being in harm's way. How do you deal with that?
Right now, I would just ask parents really just afford their kids the opportunity to explore. The Army has over 150 careers that can offer their children an avenue to either self-improvement, higher education, and really advancing the skills that they've already accumulated throughout their life or throughout high school. And I would just ask parents to allow their kids to explore those opportunities. And I know nowadays in Gen Z, millennials, myself, I'm 26, I know personal choice is a very important thing for a developing young adult. And so affording that child the choice to explore the opportunities the Army can provide, I think it's an important step.
Well, and I understand that the Army is actually one of the biggest scholarship providers there is, out there right now. Can you explain a little bit about how that works and why that's a great perk?
Absolutely. And nowadays, with the national college debt reaching almost $1.6 trillion and growing on a yearly basis, education and access to education and financial assistance with that is an important part. And the Army has a number of programs that provide that assistance. And I know for myself, I can speak to the fact that I received a 4-year education, world-class education, and it was paid for by the military, and I owed my 5 years of service. And throughout that 5 years of service, I at one point did not have a single regret about the way that I attained that education. But for students in high school that are worried about maybe pursuing a bachelor's degree or graduate degree, or just any sort of education that they haven't had in the past, with tuitions assistance, ROTC scholarships, Minuteman scholarships here in the state of Colorado, and other opportunities, there's a plethora of opportunities for these students to pursue education.
What do you like most about your service?
It's a tough question, Gina. So in my 4 years in the Army, I loved every moment about being a platoon leader and leading soldiers. But the biggest part of that, and one of the things that makes our country, this great nation, the big melting pot, is the diverse backgrounds and people that make the Army great, right? So being from New York, from upstate New York, I was very used to the Northeastern mindset and the Northeastern people that I hung out with my whole life. When I joined the Army, I had the privilege to meet soldiers that were from all over the country and some from other countries, and they were pursuing military service as an avenue to gain their citizenship. So I know right now at any moment I could call a friend that lives in Jacksonville or Boston or Missouri or out in Hawaii or friends stationed in Germany, and they'd have my back. And being a part of that diverse team and the perspectives they brought on a daily basis to solving complex problems, it was invaluable. And it was honestly something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life, with that exposure and that growth that I was able to experience. And it's really something for anybody out there looking at military service. It's an awesome opportunity to kind of broaden your horizons.
Oh, well put, absolutely. What about this pandemic and COVID? How has that affected how you recruit?
Absolutely. So COVID, this pandemic has created a difficult environment for us to reach out and communicate with prospective soldiers. And USAREC is no different. The Army Recruiting Command is no different in that we've had to adapt and we've had to be flexible. And at no point did the U.S. Army Recruiting Command close its doors. And that's with over the internet and communicating through social media or over the phone or over email, video chat, what have you. Our recruiters have adapted well to the new environment. And at any moment now, and we'll continue how this coronavirus pandemic handles itself, we're ready to accept that challenge and embrace that challenge and keep these people informed about the wonderful opportunities they have in the Army.
Absolutely. Captain, thank you so much. Explore an opportunity for a purpose-driven career, whether you serve for 4 years or a lifetime. The Army has something for everyone. For more information, just check them out on social media at Go Army Colorado or at GoArmy.com. We'll be right back.